Hello students, I am Sandhya Rathod from Paramguru Pathshala English Medium School, Sarsa. Today I am going to discuss one of the chapter from Social Science book, and the name of the chapter is The Rise of the British Rule. Here in bracket I have written chapter continue. That means in my last video I had discussed half chapter, and here we will go ahead with the chapter. Now we will start here from the Battle of Plassey. Siraj-ud-Dowla was ruling over Bengal. Due to his impulsive nature, he had some opponents in his state. Now remember students, Siraj-ud-Dowla. So who was the ruling over the Bengal? So Siraj-ud-Dowla. Due to his impulsive nature, impulsive means without thinking he was taking decisions, and this was the reason that he had some opponents in his own state. During this period, the British East India Company built a fortress around the trade center in Kolkata on pretext of security reasons, without taking the permission of the Nawab. Now what British East India Company had done? They had built a fortress around the trade center in Kolkata, means where they were doing their trade. At that place they had built a fortress, and without the permission of the Nawab, means they had not taken permission from Siraj-ud-Dowla. But Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla destroyed the fortress, and that was the reason. Okay, see, in the beginning I said he had impulsive nature. Without thinking he was doing, or he was taking an action. And here also, just because of that, the East India Company had not taken permission. So what he had done, he had destroyed the fortress. When this news reached Madras, and now it is known as Chennai, a small army of the company led by Robert Clive reached Bengal in order to help the Kolkata trade center. Now this news reached Madras. What was the news? That Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla had destroyed fortress of the East India Company, and that was the reason that one small army came. Okay, small army of the British East India Company. And who was the leader? Remember students, Robert Clive. So they reached Bengal to help the Kolkata trade center. In spite of the army of the East India Company being strong, they realized that it was not easy to defeat the Nawab's army. So in spite of the army of the British East India being strong, means British East India Company had a strong army, but then they realized that it was not easy to defeat the Nawab's army, means Siraj-ud-Dowla also had a strong army. And that's why here British East India Company people came to know that Nawab's army is also too much strong. So Robert Clive resorted to treachery. So what Robert Clive had thought? So he had thought that we will not get, or we will not got freedom here, or we will not won here. So he had thought, let's do treachery. Means kehvay ne કંઈક ખોટું કરવું. Okay, treachery. So a conspiracy was planned in order to defeat the Nawab. So conspiracy, hidden planning they had done, in which the Nawab's commander-in-chief Mir Jafar and Seth Amichand were coaxed to join. Now a conspiracy was planned. Okay, they have decided that we will defeat Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla, and for that they had taken help from Commander-in-Chief Mir Jafar and Seth Amichand were coaxed to join on the pretext that the Nawab is unnecessarily harassing the people. A war was declared at a ground near a village named Plassey. Now what happened? Nawab's commander, okay, this people, British East India Company people was too smart. Robert Clive was too smart, so he had done treachery. Okay, he had made conspiracy, and what they had done, they had taken the people from Nawab's army. Okay, main people of Nawab. Okay, and who was that? Mir Jafar and Said Ami Chand. They had made conspiracy for these two person also to join in their army. And here also one thing they had added, that Nawab is unnecessarily harassing the people. Means Nawab, as I told you, he had an impulsive nature, and that's why he was also harassing people. So they thought that let's do the war with the Nawab. So a war was declared at a ground near a village named Plassey. So where the war had begun, it had begun at the place of Plassey, or the village named Plassey, and that's why this war is called as the Battle of Plassey. Now two main points here. Remember students, the Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757. Many times they ask questions that when was the Battle of Plassey was fought. So on 23rd June 1757. The battlefield of Plassey is situated 38 km from Murshidabad, West Bengal. This is also you have to remember. According to the plan, Mir Jafar lost the battle. So according to plan, so they had, see, remember Robert Clive had made treachery, Shadyantra Kevai, okay, he had made treachery, and that's why according to plan, who had lost the battle first? Mir Jafar. Who was Mir Jafar? Commander-in-Chief, Nawab's Commander-in-Chief. Sirajuddaulah was defeated. So if the army, the main people of Nawab's army is defeating, then yes, Sirajuddaulah was also defeated. Due to Robert Clive's treachery, the Battle of Plassey ended in just half a day. So remember students, within half a day this war had finished. The company as a result got freehold over 24 paraganas. Paraganas means 24 villages, okay, which was under the Nawab's rule, okay, which was under Nawab's kingdom. So 24 villages British East India Company had got, or freehold they had got. Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of the Bengal. So what was the conspiracy? British East India Company had offered Mir Jafar that if you will give us support, we will make you King of Bengal, okay, or Nawab of Bengal, and that was the conspiracy. So here, who made the Nawab of Bengal? By British East India Company. So Mir Jafar, earlier he was the Commander-in-Chief. Thus, the foundation of the company's rule in India was laid with the Battle of Plassey in 1757. So here, the foundation of company's rule in India, okay, was laid with the Battle of Plassey. Remember the year 1757. Now let's go ahead with the Battle of Buxar. The Britishers made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal, and under different pretexts tried to extract plenty of wealth from him. Now Britishers were too smart, okay, they had come India to get freehold over all the paraganas, over all the villages, over all the states, okay. So here for their own purpose, okay, the Britishers made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal, and under different pretexts, under different rules, okay, they were trying to get extra wealth from him. Now Britishers were too, greedy. So what they were doing, they were asking more wealth from the Nawab, Mir Jafar. Due to their greed to gain more powers, the East India Company managed to dethrone Mir Jafar and made Mir Qasim the Nawab of the Bengal. Now what happened? Okay, Mir Jafar understood everything, that these people wanted more wealth from him. they are taking their own advantage, okay, they are taking advantages from us. So here Mir Jafar understood, and he was not helping that much to Britishers, okay, to East India Company, and they understood, the British East India Company understood that this person will not help us, means who was Mir Jafar, okay, he will not help us, and that's why what they had done, they had managed to dethrone, means they had said that now you will be not the king of Bengal, and what they had done, they had made Mir Qasim the Nawab of the Bengal. Remember, they had made treachery with Mir Jafar, okay, and they had made, Britishers had Mir Jafar the Nawab of the Bengal. They were not happy with the work of Mir Jafar, so what they had done, or Britishers had exiled, okay, and they had made Mir Qasim the Nawab of the Bengal. Mir Qasim proved to be more ambitious than Mir Jafar. Now what happened? Okay, they were thinking, Britishers were thinking that Mir Qasim will help us. Okay, Mir Qasim will give us more wealth from his kingdom. But what happened? He was too ambitious. He was more ambitious than Mir Jafar. He was also not good person. Okay, or he was also not ready to give anything to Britishers. Hence, Mir Qasim was removed. So Britishers, or what Britishers had done, they had removed Mir Qasim because Mir Qasim was not helping to Britishers. And Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab. Now see the treachery, conspiracy. Okay, they were taking advantages from everywhere. If they are not getting advantages, they were removing that person from that place and they were replacing another person. So earlier they made Mir Jafar, so they were not happy with Mir Jafar. They made Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim was again too much ambitious. So what they had done, they had again made the Nawab of Bengal, Mir Jafar. Hence, Mir Qasim was removed and Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab. Mir Qasim took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. Now Mir Qasim, he was too ambitious, he was not happy, okay. Now he had decided that I will take revenge just because he was removed by the Nawab of Bengal. So that's why he had decided that I will take refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. During this time, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had come to Awadh, so all three of them decided to join hands and fight the company unitedly and thus declared a war. Now Mir Qasim was not happy, so he had decided to refugee with the Nawab of Awadh, means he had decided that I will take help from Nawab of Awadh. During that time, who had come to Awadh? Shah Alam. Okay, so Shah Alam, Nawab of Awadh and Mir Qasim, these three people had decided that we will do a war against British East India Company. Okay, so that's why they had declared a war. Remember, who had declared a war? Mir Qasim, Nawab of Awadh and Shah Alam. At Buxar, the East India Company fought against United Army. United Army means these three people, okay, on 22nd October 1764, in which the United Army lost. Means who had lost the battle? Mir Qasim, Nawab of Awadh and Shah Alam. They lost the war, and thus the company got Diwani rights, means right to collect revenue, right to collect taxes from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So here British East India Company won the game. I hope you understood the Battle of Buxar. Now let's go ahead. Expansion of the company rule. Now here British East India Company was getting power over all the states, over all the villages. Okay, so now it's a time to expansion the rules of company. Let's go ahead. The The English government passed a regulating act in 1773 according to which the governor of Bengal was made the governor general and all the trade and political activities of the company were brought under his direct control. Now, what was the first rule that the Britishers had passed? The governor of Bengal was made the governor general. Okay, governor general means that person will take care of everything. Okay, that person will take care of all the villages. So that person will see all the trade, even political activities under his direct control. So governor general, so first rule was that governor general will take control over all the activities. The Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him. Thus, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. So, Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him. Means here all the states, okay, were under the control of Governor General. Now here the time of making the Governor General. So here remember students, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. During his tenure, the first Maratha War and second Mysore War with Hyder Ali of Mysore was waged. So under his leadership, okay, Governor General Warren Hastings, first Maratha War and second Mysore War with Hyder Ali was waged. The problems for East India Company increased because it had to face both the powers simultaneously. Now here East India Company was in a difficulty because he had to face powers from everywhere, okay, because here if they want to take control over all the activities, they should be supreme, they should have more power than other people. So that's why they were having some problems. Cornwallis took over a Governor General after Warren Hastings, and that's why what happened, Britishers had removed Warren Hastings and they had made Cornwallis as a Governor General. During the tenure of Cornwallis, the third Mysore War took place with Tipu Sultan. Okay, so here what happened, after Warren Hastings, Cornwallis came, and during his time period, okay, third Mysore War happened with Tipu Sultan, famously known as the Tiger of Mysore. The company had to join hands with the Marathas and the Nizam to defeat the Tipu Sultan. Now the company had thought that if we want to defeat Tipu Sultan, we want support from Marathas and Nizams. Tipu could not win against the combined forces and had to accept the treaty. Now the British East India Company was, okay, this company's people were too much intelligent, so they had decided that we want Marathas, we want Nizams if we want to defeat Tipu Sultan, and that's happened, okay, because they had thought like this and they had made company, okay, they had unitedly done war and they they won the battle and Tipu Sultan lost this battle. After Cornwallis, Sir John Shore became the Governor General. Due to some rigid policies adopted by him, the British East India Company's fame declined and Marathas became stronger. Now after Cornwallis, who came? Sir John Shore. Okay, first was Warren Hastings, another was Cornwallis, and the third one was John Shore. So he was the Governor General of India. So he had used some policies, okay, and that's why the British East India Company's fame declined and Marathas became stronger. So Governor General Wellesley, who came after John Shore, got the responsibility of making the company supreme in India. So that's why what happened, Sir John Shore was removed by the post of Governor General, and who had made Governor General Wellesley, okay, and he had taken all the responsibilities of companies, okay. He had said that I will make the company supreme in India. For this, Wellesley introduced subsidiary alliances system, and the conditions of the system and states adopted under this are as follows. Now, after John Shore, okay, Wellesley decided he had introduced subsidiary alliance system. Now let's see what are the terms and conditions of subsidiary alliance system. So the first one is the army trained by the East India Company government will be provided to the state that accepts the systems. Now the first rule was the army trained by British East India Company, okay. If you want this army from British East India Company, for that you have to pay everything for the British army, okay, or all the needs, okay, means you have to give money for the army if you want army, or if you want this system in your state, then you have to give money for that. In return, the state accepting the system will provide for the army or give away provinces with equivalent income to the British. So, as I already told you, in return, okay, if the state is accepting the system made by the Britishers, then they have to provide the army and or give away provinces with equivalent income to the British, okay. If you are not able to pay, if you are not giving the facilities to the army people, then what you have to do, you have to give income, equivalent income to the British. Without the permission of the company, the state will not wage war or sign treaty with other states. So if you are accepting without the permission of company, means without the permission of East India Company, you cannot do war with other states. There will be one English representative in the state assembly, okay. See, the Britishers were too smart. They wanted to take control over everything, and that's why the another rule they had made that there will be one English representative in state assembly. In every state, there will be one English person who will see, who will listen everything. So nobody can go ahead or nobody can do cheating with the Britishers. Other foreigners not to be employed in the states. So you cannot give jobs to other foreigners. Now the states rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance system, remember the names students: Nizam, Mysore, Awadh, Gaikwad, Sindhia, Bhosle and Holkar. I hope students you understood here the battle of Plassey and the battle of Buxar, and as well as what is subsidiary alliance system. Thank you students.